We're going to try that again. Thor Love and Thunder hit theaters yesterday, July 8th. I saw it last night. I saw it on opening day. And I was really excited for this one. A lot more excited than I think a lot of other people were, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So yeah, this is my first review back in quite a while. I was very busy for a little bit there, but I'm back. I'm here. I'm talking about a new release. So yeah, I've been a much bigger fan of Phase 4 stuff than most other MCU fans. I feel like for some reason there's just this attitude with every Phase 4 movie comes out, just saying, "Oh, this is gonna be terrible. This is so bad. Why is it like that? Why is it so different? Why is it so weird and corny?" Um, and I don't know. I feel like I've been the dissenting voice here that's kind of been saying I've liked the new direction that they've taken a lot of these Marvel movies in. They're experimenting. They're letting the MCU go into new molds and letting itself have its own identity way more than some of the older movies. I'm not saying every Phase 4 movie that has come out was spectacular. In fact, most of them sit around like a B+, which is still really good. That's a good rating. It's just most of them sit around there. I just have liked the direction that Marvel is going into. I loved Shang-Chi. I loved Doctor Strange 2. And I really liked Black Widow and Spider-Man No Way Home. So they're still churning out really good stuff. It's just, I don't know. I think people don't really love some of the more experimental and different Marvel movies that we've gotten. I don't know what it is. I honestly, I've read so many Letterboxd reviews that are just confusing on why they're like that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, obviously, and you can hate everything Marvel comes out. Everything that Marvel comes out with. That is totally your right to do that. Cool. That's awesome. You have a different opinion than me. But the way they phrase it is just, ugh. Like, one person, and I won't name any names or anything, like call out the username or anything like that, but I remember one person saying, for this movie, MCU movies are the Imagine Dragons of the movie industry. Like, really, we're gonna draw that comparison, or the MCU is a plague on cinema. Like, guys, really, I thought we were over that forever ago. Just let yourself enjoy them. I don't know. Some people just you can't ever please them with anything. That's for a whole other day. Let's get back to Thor Love and Thunder. So I was really excited for this movie. I loved Thor Ragnarok like most other people did. Taika Waititi really, really understands the character of Thor and understands how to hit the balance of really cheesy, over-the-top, like space adventure stuff with really funny and quippy humor and absolutely incredible action sequences. I mean, Taika Waititi really knows how to make good action sequences. And with Thor Ragnarok, it balanced all of that so well. It was just such a refreshing new take on the MCU, and especially on Thor, that, I don't know, I think that movie still holds up to this day. So, with Thor Love and Thunder, I understood that it was going to be a lot more humorous. It was going to lean in the direction of being a comedy. And I fully accepted that, which is, I think, other people made that mistake of not doing that and kind of being disappointed by this movie. So, what did I think of it? How did I feel coming out of Thor Love and Thunder? I can honestly say I really liked it. It's not nearly as good as Ragnarok. It is just not on that same level. It's not even on the same level as something like Doctor Strange 2, which I actually like more than Thor Ragnarok, so I don't know why I said that. It's definitely not a Doctor Strange 2. But you know what? I really liked it for what it was. I don't know. I might be in the minority here again with this, but I really liked Thor Love and Thunder. The cheesiness actually worked in its favor a ton, if that makes a lot of sense. Yes, there were too much comedy in this movie. I'll say that. There was so many moments that were kind of ruined by corny Marvel quips. That just comes with the territory. I'll get to that in my negatives in a little bit. But I think a lot of the cheesiness really worked in this movie's favor. It was going for that kind of 80s nostalgia, of adventure movies, and I think it hits that specific niche really well. And I think, again, Waititi really understands how to hit a specific feel for a movie and a specific genre, and really nails homaging it, but also giving it its own flair, if that makes any sense. Chris Hemsworth is just effortlessly great as Thor. He always has been, even though I am super not a fan of the first two Thor movies. I think he really, really works in those as well. But I think him being more comedic and having more personality definitely works more towards Chris Hemsworth's strengths. And this movie gives him a lot more time to shine than even in Ragnarok. I mean, a lot of Ragnarok was, Planet Hulk and then Hela. It was balancing a lot more characters, and this one you definitely get to focus more on Thor and his relationship with Jane, obviously. And I think that really works. I genuinely think that aspect of developing Thor's character more really works here, and Chris Hemsworth gives a great performance. I really loved how the plot, like I was saying, played out like an action-adventure video game, if that makes any sense. Once I kind of got myself in that mindset, I could digest the corny dialogue better. I could stomach the aspects that weren't so great a little bit more. I let myself have fun with this movie and accept it for being just a fun action-adventure, like, romp kind of movie. It was definitely, it is a disconnection from the larger aspects of Marvel, like the big overarching stories, and we've just gotten, that over and over and over and over again. Ever after Black Widow, it's just been that kind of movie, and sometimes you need a little break from that. Sometimes these movies can not really work, like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I've never been a fan of that movie, but when stuff like Thor: Love and Thunder disconnects itself from the larger overarching stories of the MCU, it really works for me. The visuals and action set pieces are what really kind of push this movie over the top for me. Yes, it is really fun. I really enjoy all the characters together. Some of the humor works for me. I really like Chris Hemsworth. But the two main things that really made this movie as enjoyable as it was for me was Christian Bale as Gore the God Killer. I'm not familiar with the source material really at all, but I know that's his name, I think. If I get that wrong, let me know, but still. His performance was really great, and Taika Waititi's direction and his team's cinematography when it comes to the action set pieces in particular. The action in this movie is so... I don't even know how to describe it. It hits that perfect mark of being like a popcorn movie, but also having such great visuals and being really creative and fun. And this movie is a ton of fun to watch. It's not the deepest thing. It's not, I don't know. It's not like Doctor Strange where it has all these crazy new elements and a lot of experimental stuff. It just is going for a specific niche and hits that niche for me, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I really, really did like the action set pieces in here. The no color sequence, which a lot of other people are talking about, phenomenal. Most of the battles in this movie really, really worked for me. Some of the best action I think we've gotten since Shang-Chi, and I know that's fairly recent, but it's on that level. And I really liked Christian Bale's villain here. Sometimes he was a little too hammy and was kind of chewing up the scenery a little bit, but that kind of worked for me. I don't know. There was a few, it's very nitpicky, but there was a few moments where I didn't love his performance, but when I did, man, was he really menacing. He was a real threat, and had like a coughing attack there. I'm going to cut that part out. But anyway, he was really menacing. He was really charismatic, and I don't know, was just always captivating you when he was on the screen. So, with my negatives for Thor: Love and Thunder, while I did really like the majority of this movie, I had so much fun with it. It's a really good movie theater experience. Below the surface, yeah, it really doesn't give you a lot. The script in particular really left a lot to be desired. It cut a ton of corners from a story standpoint, and left a lot out that should have been in the story. I don't know. There was just moments where that was kind of sped up too quickly, or they kind of did a comedic scene instead of filling the plot holes within this movie. And I'm not usually someone who really complains about plot holes or plot logic. I think that's stupid to criticize a movie for that. But when it is actively making the overarching story worse and is making stuff make a little less sense and kind of take you out of the experience, I'm going to complain about it. And you know what? This is a fairly below average script, and I don't know, that's disappointing. It really hindered a lot of what I was really liking about this movie. And also, Natalie Portman, she forgot how to act in this film. Wow, was her performance bad. I mean, terrible. She did not want to be there. I mean, you could say the same thing about both of her performances in the first two Thor movies, but this one in particular, she was atrocious. And Natalie Portman's a great actor. I've seen her act even in shitty movies way better than this, and it was just very clear she didn't want to be there. So yeah, that element was also really disappointing. But overall, this was definitely a more positive experience than it was a negative experience. Yes, I have a lot of issues with this movie. Yes, it's not anywhere near as good as Thor Ragnarok. But you know what? I still really enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun with it. And I'm going to give Thor Love and Thunder a really strong B. Borderline a B+, but I'm going to give it a B. Which, again, may seem like a disappointment, but still, B is a fairly good grade. And I think this movie is really good for what it is. It's not phenomenal. It's not great. It's nowhere near best of the year material, but I still had a ton of fun with it. So, yeah, that is my review of Thor Love and Thunder. I'm trying to think of what my next couple videos will be. More of this Blu-ray collection, definitely. I'm going to review The Sea Beast, which just came out on Netflix. That movie looks really good. And yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys later.